Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, my Zoom has completely changed. How are you today? I hope that you're doing well. Please ignore my phrase. I've had to change shampoos for a little bit and it's not going well. I hope that you're having a lovely day. We are going to talk today about gratitude rituals and what that looks like because I have a slightly different take on them. Um, and then we're gonna talk about the pros and the cons and the goods and the bads and um, I stopped doing them for a really long time and I kind of want to talk about why and why I'm starting to get back into them and how that all works together. And then I'm actually gonna walk you through um, a breathing meditation and a focus on the breath. And then we are going to actually go through the ritual itself and what that looks like. And then in the description box below, I will have a written version of this as well in a blog post. Forgive me if I yawn. I literally was up from 2 until 5 in the morning this morning and got out of bed at 8:30. So I'm trying to get my sleep schedule back on. I woke up and I was just in an enormous amount of pain. So realistically, this is the best kind of day for me to go through a gratitude ritual. Um, the reason I stopped doing them for a really long time is I really was knee deep at the time that I came up with this ritual. It was knee deep in the toxic positivity kind of movement. And I realized looking at myself that it looks like I have lipstick on weirdly, but I just had two popsicles. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's what's going on there. um, Toxic positivity was a huge part of my life in the 2010 to 2020 time period, and it got to the point that it was really detrimental to my healing. And it started to feel like I was just doing the rituals just to do them and not with intention and with purpose. And while I think that there sometimes is power in doing things when you don't necessarily want to do them, I really do believe that you don't need to do this stuff every day and to benefit from it. And in fact, the times that you should be doing it is when you don't feel good. And I will say that right now, I feel like I'm desperately drowning and having a very challenging time with that and not feeling good. I am um, really deeply struggling. And I find that on days when I'm deeply struggling, that's when I need my gratitude more than when I'm good and my mental health is good and my confidence is good. So if you choose to break it, and the other thing I want to say is that I'm going to be sharing over the next 6 months and probably forever tools that have worked for me and things that I subscribe to. But all of this is quite literally just tools for your toolbox, you know? Like there are days that you need a wrench, and the only thing that you can use for the problem that you need to solve or for the building project that you are trying to have is a wrench. And you would not try to paint a wall with a flathead screwdriver, right? It's just not going to work. But when you need the flathead screwdriver, it's really great to have one. You are not going to try and take your tires off with a jack. I mean, that's part of the process to get your tires off, but you're not actually the jack isn't going to get your lug nuts off, right? And so I think the idea here is that my goal in my channel, in my work, in the offers that I'm going to be presenting to you over the next couple of months is simply to give you additional tools for your toolbox. And when you need the tool, you know how to use it and you know where it is. And that's the goal of any kind of, for now, I'm going to call it a life coach because I'm not sure where I'm at in that sphere right now. I think that life coach is way too broad, but I am thinking that it's going to be some kind of coaching product. It's formulating in my mind right now, and I'm trying to solidify that and get some more educational pieces so that I do have more tools available for you, like EFT and TFT tapping, or tapping as they're also called, NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It's ways of reframing things that I've been doing for years, for myself and for others. I just didn't know what it was called. And the mindfulness course that I just completed and the habit change specialist certification that I did a couple of years back, and just et cetera, right? And eventually, once I get through these smaller courses in Reiki, and once I get through these smaller courses, things that I've used for years for myself, things that I know work because I've used them for other people and explain them to other people to help them, um, I will formulate some kind of offer around that. Anywho, all of these things are simply tools, and you can utilize them or not, but it can be helpful when you feel like you're drowning in crap to come back to your body and come back to yourself and go, not everything is going to shit, and not everything is that bad. There are things that are great, and here are a few of them. And the difference between the way that I used to do this and the way that I'm doing it now is simply that I am not completely disregarding my problems. I'm not disregarding the things that are going wrong. I'm simply saying for 5 minutes or 7 minutes, I'm going to focus on something else. And in doing that, in focusing on something else for just a moment, we can all feel into our body and feel something different. And then, with that knowledge, with that understanding, with that realizing where in our bodies we're feeling the gratitude, we can try to make changes happen that expand that feeling. Does that make sense? And when we're stressed, we know where in our body we need to direct attention to ease that stress and create more resilience within ourselves. And that's my top goal, is to become more resilient myself and then to help other people become more resilient, because life seems to be continuing to be stressful and that is very hard. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to get comfortable in our seats. Try not to fall asleep during this because that's a thing that happens. Before I start, I'm going to say that there might come a time where your brain starts to wander to all the problems that you're experiencing in your life right now, or thoughts, or I need to do the dishes. Holy shit, I forgot to go and get cat food or whatever. And this is perfectly normal. Once you awaken to or notice that this is happening, you just want to go, okay, let's put that on the shelf and I will attend to it when I'm done. But right now, I need to come back to my breath. Okay. So it doesn't matter if it happens or if it happens 20 times in the 3 minutes that we're going to sit and quietly breathe, it's okay. No shame. Don't guilt yourself for it. Don't say, oh my God, I can't do this. And if you start to feel anxious, again, notice the anxiety. Say, I see you. I feel you. I hear you. And then come back to your breath. And one thing that I have, well, I'll get into that. Okay. Are you ready? All right. So let me get myself in a comfortable position. Okay, I need my glasses on so I can see the time. All right, so I want you to relax. You can sit crisscross applesauce. You can sit with your feet on the floor. If you have the ability to go outside, I like doing that as well, as long as it's not too noisy. And I just want you to take a really deep breath in and then release it. Now, we want to either breathe through our mouths or breathe through our noses, one of the two. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath in. And release it. And then on the next inhale, I want you to really focus on how cool the air is coming into your nose. And then on the exhale, I want you to notice how warm the air is coming out of your nose. And let's just continue to have that space within where you're breathing, you're focusing on the breath. You can also focus on your chest, how it rises and falls. You can put your attention on your tummy, how it rises and falls. But we just want to focus on one of those three things and just continue to breathe normally. You're not trying to breathe extra deep or extra shallow, just nice, normal breaths. As we're doing this, we're just focusing on our breath. We're focusing on returning to the breath. If our mind begins to wander, it's okay. There's no shame. I still have this problem. Just bring it on back to the breath, whether that be your chest rising and falling, your nose inhaling coolness and exhaling warmth. Just going to bring it back. Continuing to breathe in and out. And when you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your toes and slowly open your eyes again and come back into your body. Okay, so the reason that we do that prior to doing the ritual, for me at least, it really grounds me into my body and I start to notice where I'm feeling things more intensely and more deeply. Okay, so you've already gotten super relaxed, so check. And next we're gonna start doing some deep yogic breathing. So that is when we fill the bowl of your tummy and we lift the chest as well, and we are really deeply breathing in. Okay, so let's do a couple of those. Hold it for a second and release. Yogic breathing is done in the throat, and you should be able to hear it a little bit, like a. So you're breathing deeply into the throat and deeply filling the chest, almost to the point that it doesn't quite hurt, but you have a hard time getting any more breath in. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is I want you to focus on your heart chakra, and this is literally right where your sternum is. So I want you to bring your awareness as you're doing your breathing into your heart chakra. I want you to imagine that there's a flower there and it blossoms outward and it is open and receiving, ready to receive. It is beautiful and smells lovely and fragrant. Imagine your favorite flower, okay? And what we're gonna do is this first time, I want you to either say out loud as you're breathing 3 things that you are extremely grateful for. Or not even extremely, 3 things that you are grateful for. Do not complicate this. If it is, I am very grateful that I was able to eat this morning, then that's it. That's okay. That is 100% okay. I'm grateful that I fed my child. I had food to feed my child. That's okay too. I'm grateful that I was able to get back to sleep this morning. That's okay too. Okay. I'm grateful that I am not in pain today or I'm not in as much pain. All of these things are acceptable answers. So I'm going to give you a second to do 3 deep breaths. And as you're on the exhale, or on the inhale, you're going to think about them. On the exhale, you're going to feel into them. Okay? Ready? Let's go. It's perfectly okay if this process is emotional for you. It's okay if you find yourself crying. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if this is challenging and you can only come up with 2. That's okay. You will get better at this practice. And the more you do it, the better you will get. Do you need to do this every day? Absolutely not. Is once a week a good practice? Absolutely. If you can only manage it once a month, to get really in that deep state of relaxation and feeling it all through your body, that's okay too. It's also okay if you cannot feel it in your body yet. It's okay if this process felt weird and a little made you a little anxious. That's okay. If nothing else, do the breathing ritual and get that down, and then come into doing this part of the process. It is so helpful. If you can do nothing else, if you can't say, I am grateful for, you can send good energy to those that you love as well. I wish for the well being of this person. I wish for the well being of that person, something to that effect. If you're just having a really hard time getting into the gratitude space, it's really okay to simply redirect good energy outward because what we release is what we can hope to get back. Okay. And the more we do this practice, the more that we feel it and envelop it and really make it a part of who we are, everything comes into focus. Everything gets better. Everything gets more bright. You start to look for new things that you are grateful for, and that, my friends, is when everything in life starts to get a whole hell of a lot better. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a lovely day. I hope that this was super duper helpful. Sometimes after I'm done, I like to write down the things that I was grateful for in some sort of journal. And sometimes I also really, really love to um, journal after, like explain my experience. Where did I feel it in my body the most? Where else did I feel it? Did I feel a surge somewhere? Did I feel lightheaded? Was I anxious during the breathing? Like what happened, right? And sometimes those things can really help us. So I hope that you guys have a good day. I hope that this was helpful, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya. Bye.